Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad that you're here. I hope a lot of you are not getting tired of me harping on this one thing, but she just keeps giving me so much content. So I really kind of want to finish this out, see it through until there's nothing left to tell. So yes, if you have not watched my previous two videos talking about the author Britt Andrews, you are definitely going to want to do that first because a lot of this I'm not going to go back over that I've already talked about too much. If you're wondering where I am in Joshua Tree, California. It is absolutely stunning, one of my favorite places in the whole world. So that is today's background. That's not my house. So this video might be a little less coherent than some of my more recent videos, only because I feel like I've got a lot of little things I want to cover. But before we do that, I do want to talk about a few kind of like corrections. Now, I had said something regarding Kickstarter, not requiring basically that the creators fulfill their obligations, like getting their money back or whatever. And Kickstarter does have that as part of their terms of service, which I should have done a better job vetting, I guess. And I shouldn't have just been like taking people's words for it, but that's on me. And so yes, you can have a Kickstarter, and I mean, if it does not get fully funded, then you will be refunded. You will get your money back. But if the Kickstarter does raise enough money, then basically the creator has no like timeline of when they need to get the product to you or anything like that. And I feel like that's something that really needs to be looked at by Kickstarter because, I mean, I understand that it's an investment and like you're taking a chance, but if the goal was hit, you should probably be able to actually produce the thing. And it's not like she's doing any of that and actually coming close to producing it. So just want to clear that up. There's also something that several of you mentioned when I said that she should not have taken on so many, like this extra thing and buying a restaurant when she was like so stressed out. And I had a few comments saying, yeah, but she didn't say she was stressed out until after those things happen. And so I do want to show you this TikTok just to clear that up.
So I thought I would do a quick video to give everybody an update on Demons in My Head, because I know a lot of you have been looking for it or wondering what happened. I did give an update in my Facebook reader group, on my Instagram, and in my newsletter. Those are the best places to get updates on my release schedule. But for those of you who don't know, I've had a little bit of a rough year. I lost my aunt in November, who inspired Gran in the Emerald Lake series. And I've just had intermittent bouts of heart-wrenching grief that comes out of nowhere. So it's been a bit of a struggle. It really broke my heart to have to cancel that pre-order because I know you guys have been waiting a long time. I've been waiting a long time. I'm excited to get this book out to you. I'm writing it currently, and I will keep everybody posted. We'll get it out. I'll get it out as soon as I possibly can. I just wanted to say thank you to my readers, my fans, my friends, everybody in this community who continues to support me as I go through this emotional turmoil that is life. So that's all I have for you guys. If you didn't know, Demons in My Bed was turned into an interactive game, which you can get on the Moments Choose Your Story app in the App Store or the Play Store. It's a lot of fun. They even gave Rhodes a monocle, which just absolutely kills me. And yeah, so I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I hope you're going to stick with me because book 2 is going to be even better than book 1. I promise.
So you can see that this was posted in June 2023, but she did not start the Kickstarter until August 2023 and did not buy the restaurant until like very late in 2023. So she was already having a tough time when she decided to do both those things. So, I mean, I feel like her complaining about being overwhelmed and so much, like, yeah, she was already doing poorly. At least that's excuses she was using at the time. So, I mean, we can only work with the information she gives us, and the information she gives us was she was already stressed and tired. I had also shown you some covers where she had changed from a plus size, although you know what I'm saying, a plus size model to a skinny model, and then she produced a set of these with a different plus size model. And so I can't find any evidence that the original plus size covers were ever completed as the full series. I can only see that it was the first two. So, this is just another example of like, if you're a completionist and you really wanted all of your books to match, you were going to have to go then and buy a brand new set of books. And I know that's a choice people make, but it does not necessarily feel accidental to do that, knowing what we know about Britt now, which does bring us to 5 covers for that particular book. But recently, I have been sent a link. So over on Amazon, just very recently, her books 1, 2, 3, and then another copy of 4 and 5 was published as an omnibus, and that's just another example. And you can see right here that this came out on February 1st this year. So she's still publishing different editions of this. And I just don't understand why. Like, she's just really coming out. And I mean, to me, this is a cash grab, plain and simple. There's no other way to put it. Okay, so in the last 2 videos, I think I've really tried to lay out a nice timeline of how she scammed, what's gone on. So I kind of want to go back and do some things that I didn't touch on before. And so the first one is the failed Kickstarter. So a little over a year before Britt's infamous Kickstarter that got this all started, she actually had another one that did not actually reach funding. And so after looking at what she was offering, I am not surprised in the slightest that she did not hit her goal. Here you can see that her funding was unsuccessful on July 24th, 2022. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and sometimes you can line everything up just right and smash that ball out of the park. That's what happened to me in April 2020. I was furloughed from my hospital job and had no idea when I would be returning to work. I've been an avid reader since I could read, and I thought it was the perfect time to see if I could write a novel. On October 1st, 2020, my debut novel, The Magic of Discovery, went live on Amazon. When I tell you how shocked I was at the reaction from readers, I mean it. I was, and still am, blown away. The 5th and final book in the series was published September 30th, 2021. Writing this series changed my life. Writing these characters changed my world. Now, a year and a half after my debut, I want to do this amazing Kickstarter for character boxes. Emerald Lakes was always meant to be comforting, safe, and cozy. I want it to be a series readers could come back to time and time again. What better way to do that than an exclusive, one-time only character box that is filled with everything you need to rep your Emerald Lakes book boyfriends? You, reader, are the heart of my career. Everything I write is for you. You've laughed with Gran and Randy Roger, yelled at Sloane, sympathized with Sage, shared heartbreak and triumphs with all of the guys. This is a project I want to be able to do for the superfans. The ones who read Emerald Lakes and just can't say goodbye. And not to worry, Sage didn't have to choose, and neither do you. The option to get more than 1 box is there. Wow, that was so generous of her to let you send her money. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the never-ending support and love you all show me daily. Your messages, emails, videos, everything. I see them, I appreciate them, and you. Let's do this. So let's take a quick little look-see at what these boxes actually contained and how much they cost. So you can get a character card, which is just kind of a little piece of paper with a character. For $5. You can get all of the character cards for $20. You can get character box for Cam and Cam's Little Witch. This is $100. I did screenshot all of them, but they're all the same, $100. The items that come in it are a character tumbler cup, character t-shirt, keychain, character print, and bookmark. So that is for like any of the guys, I guess, in the story. And then you can get all of them for $550. Wow. So if I had to guess, I would say that the total of one of these boxes is no more than $25 to $30, and that she's charging $100 for them. And wait until I show you what these things actually looked like. So to me, this looks like someone made it on their like Cricut vinyl machine for their family's trip to Disney World, and they wanted to like have matching shirts. Like, this looks so amateur and just lazy. It looks so cheap and low quality, and I honestly can't believe she even got 22 people to back this. Like, I feel like that's a really big example of how like strong her influence is over her audience, because I don't feel like anyone could really look at this and say, yes, that is worth $100. It's just not. I mean, this is junk. And I think asking people to spend $100 on that is wild. All right, so the next thing I'm going to cover is all of her books that have just been forgotten. So, on several occasions, Britt has announced and hyped up projects that actually never went anywhere. And so the first one is her Sleepy Hollow retelling. Blurb reveal: Lost in Sleepy Hollow, Horsemen of Hell Book 1. A Sleepy Hollow retelling. Sleepy Hollow was supposed to be a legend. It became my reality. After a botched spell, I find myself stuck in an old stone well. I'm terrified and injured until the handsome and flirtatious Gideon hears my calls for help and I'm rescued. Understanding hits me as fast as the sugar crash at the end of a trick-or-treat haul. I'm not in Wisteria, and it sure as hell isn't 2022. Most of the people are welcoming, accepting me as a part of the town. Then there's Father Jude, who despises me at first glance. Magistrate Lucian, who is suspicious of my sudden arrival, and Headmaster Bodhi, who can't seem to stop staring at me. October is suddenly filled with mystery, murder, and mayhem. Just like that, my favorite season becomes a true nightmare. My name is Hattie Van Tassel, and I'm lost in Sleepy Hollow, a town that's righteous beneath the sun and absolutely depraved beneath the moon. Just something that bothers me, and this is totally personal, but I hate when synopses are written in the first person. I just hate it. So this is the cover. I'm not going to say it's AI, but it looks like it's possible. That just doesn't look like a real person to me, but that's okay. So the date was not posted on that, or it was cut off, but it was sometime in summer 2021. So the next thing about this that we really hear is not until October 19th, 2021. Important news, this will probably be a long post, so hang in there. It pains me to have to do this, but I'm pushing the release date of Lost in Sleepy Hollow. I worked my freaking butt off to get Eternity out on time, despite getting hit with bronchitis and pneumonia while I was doing so, and my editing team rose to the occasion and we got it out by the deadline. I can't do that this time. It was stressful and affected my mental health. Gah. That said, I've got a solid part of the book written, and I will still push to have that out as soon as I can. I'll be in Las Vegas from November 7th through 12th for an author conference and book signing. On top of getting ready for that, I have 200 paperback books to sign and ship. They stare at me and mock me every day. Ha. Oh, God. I don't want to release a book that isn't up to my standards, and I feel like I got a little lost in the race to publish as fast as possible. For me, it's not possible to write a book in 4 weeks and have it out in 2 more. My brain just isn't wired that way. Plus, I love character development. My characters drive my stories, and by not taking my time to get to know them and write them in a way that's true to who they are would be doing everyone a disservice. Just know that I'll always give you my best. I'm not canceling the pre-order, just moving the date, so if you have pre-ordered it, you're all good. So I really would like us to go back and take note of the place where she said, for me, it's not possible to write a book in 4 weeks and have it out in 2 more. My brain just isn't wired that way. So then why is she announcing all these books if she cannot deliver them? It makes no sense. Like, if this is something you know about yourself, then you need to be the one to take responsibility and not overcommit. It's totally fine to just be working on one project at a time. You don't have to have all of these little things on the back burner. It seems like, she had a pretty solid group of committed, fans that just absolutely loved her. And there was really no reason for her to keep announcing projects that were so far from completion. I feel like there should at least be a draft or most of a draft done before announcing something, because once it's announced, especially for someone like this that had pushed out 5 books in a year, people are excited and they hear about something and they're like, I want it now. And there's nothing wrong with that, particularly if the author has gotten her fan base that way. So I don't know. And it's interesting because she says that that's not her preferred way to write, which could absolutely be true, but that is basically the whole thing behind 20 books to 50K is getting books out like one after another very quickly. And that's a huge reason why she has been as successful as she is. I don't know, it just feels a little off. And I don't know, the last sentence here, I'm not canceling the pre-order, just moving the date. So if you have pre-ordered it, you're all good. So she's saying, I'm not canceling it, even though this book isn't not gonna come out for a long time. So just, if you pre-order, don't worry. I'm just gonna keep your money and I'll give you this book sometime. Like, it's just one of these things, okay. So this next post is on June 15th, 2022. This is about 8 months after the previous one, where she was the last time she talked about Sleepy Hollow. So after spending the whole day down at the lake and being baked in this 100-degree heat, I don't think I'm gonna do a live tonight. I'm sorry, I'm just exhausted. But I will tell you what I'm working on. Last fall, I was supposed to release a new book and I decided to cancel the pre-order for it because I was burnt out after writing Emerald Lakes. She must have done that in between these two things that I could not get my hands on a screenshot of, because she seemed to keep insisting she was going to write it. Whatever. Whether or not she did cancel the pre-order and give people their money back, she still did not write this book after announcing it and being so excited. That book is a retelling of one of my favorite stories, Sleepy Hollow. I went back last week and read the manuscript. It's about 30K words, and guys, it's good. Mwahaha. I cannot wait to finish it. Lost in Sleepy Hollow will hopefully be ready to roll in September. Demons in My Head will follow. Really? Check out this cover from the amazing Rainy Day artwork and the blurb. I'll keep everyone updated on the pre-order. Here's the link to the book trailer too. So again, yes, this was 8 months after she originally announced it. And while she, yes, did say she canceled the pre-orders, I hope that she gave everyone their money back. So Sleepy Hollow, who knows? All right, so about 6 months after that, she announced in December 2022, a series of novellas called Emerald Mates that I guess the character art, I don't know exactly the concept of these books, but she did character art for each of these men, and that was kind of her biggest promotion. I'm just showing you one of such things. And so later, the same day that she announced this is posted. Hey, Misfits. Yay for Britt's announcement and cover reveals of the Emerald Mates series. I know everyone is excited about them, but we do not have any release dates as of right now. And then she asks like a little engagement question, but like why? I just don't, I guess I don't understand why announce a book. I mean, I get it, to get people excited, but it feels like it would be a lot more prudent to get people excited like closer to the actual release date, because let me tell you, there's lots of books that I'm excited for that are coming out much later, and that excitement kind of like dulls because I'm like, well, I'll get re-excited when this comes out. It just feels like it would be better to announce this and like keep it in people's minds. All she does is announce books and then it's like, we don't have any other information. We'll see ya when we see ya. I just don't think that's a good way to market. Yeah, so again, no release date, just an announcement with nothing behind it. And a few days later, she posts this. Good morning. I know everyone is excited about Emerald Mates. Just as a friendly PSA, you will get information as it comes available. I'm still writing Dimbies, which is what they called Demons in My Bed, and then Demons in My Head. That was like that series. And recovering from pneumonia. Please don't message my team and fish for information. Even if they did know something, it's not their place to give out book information, so don't make it harder for them. Also, I'll be sending an exclusive teaser tomorrow in the newsletter. Sign up, yada yada. First of all, this woman is always sick with something horrible. Why announce this if you don't have anything to say about it? And then at the same time, get annoyed with your fans for having questions and having the audacity to ask about a project that you yourself announced. You didn't have to announce that if you had no type of answers to their questions. Like, that just, it doesn't make sense to me. And is this a marketing strategy? Because it did. It got the people interested, but now you're mad at them for asking questions about it, and it makes no sense. I can't find a single thing on Google other than like Reddit posts talking like, where are these books that tells me they were ever published. So I'm going on to the assumption that they never did exist. If you have something that proves that they ever did, please send it my way, and I'm happy to correct it in the future. So another novella that never got published is Emerald Treats, which was a Halloween-themed story set in Emerald Lakes once again. This is in 2023. Cover reveal / giveaway and teaser. As Fisher continued to work on the lights, I made my way inside the mystical piglet. I couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia as I gazed around the shop. My feet were placed exactly where they were the first time I met my little witch. I could picture that moment so vividly in my mind. The way the sunlight had burst through the windows behind me, illuminating her red hair at fiery levels. I never stood a chance. To win a paperback copy of Emerald Treats, comment below what you're hoping you'll find within the pages of this Emerald Nyx novella. So this is it. There's a little rendering, of it, the cover on an iPad. I do think this cover is really cute, but it probably doesn't exist. So she announced this again in October 2023, and we don't hear anything about it until April 2024. Hi girls, I can't find info about it, but did Emerald Treats happen? Thank you. Other than the tease, she hasn't mentioned a finished product yet. I'm still waiting for demons in my head. Same girl, same. Like what is happening? Like what is going on? Okay, so Kickstarter scam, kind of just like the tip of the iceberg in her nonsense. The one I know least about, will start there, and it seems pretty straightforward though. It is her Patreon. She writes that it's officially live and you should sign up. Arcs of new releases, audiobook codes, safe for work and not safe for work art, author and aspiring author Q&A videos, monthly Zoom call with me, signed books, exclusive bonus content, and read the book as I write it. And there are 4 different tiers, and this is still posted. I can't access whether or not she ever actually delivered on those things, but at best we know she has not been active over there in at least a year when she directed people over to Ream. So as you can see, she still has 6 people paying for a subscription. And I don't know if these are people that are still fans of hers or if it's just an oversight that they're not realizing they're still paying for. Either way, she's still taking their money and she's still benefiting from this venture. And I will say that, that's people should check their billing statements. But I also think if she knows she's not using Patreon anymore, she should probably just shut down her account. So then she started using Ream, which is pretty similar to Patreon, except it's made especially for authors. I honestly think this is such a cool idea and a really, really neat for indie authors. I didn't know this existed. So pretty similar. You choose your membership. But yeah, again, it's like tailored for authors. So I think that's really cool. I might be the only one that is new to this. And you can again see here that she has 17 people still members on Ream. Same thing applies. People should check their bank statements, but additionally, she should cancel her account if she's not actually giving people what they had signed up to pay for. Okay, so in addition to having like the Ream for her readers, she also had another subscription on Ream called Fiction Addiction, which was meant to provide a space for new authors to get guidance from her at different tiers, of course. So this is what she posts in her group. Author friends, I have exciting news today. My Ream subscription is now live. Fiction Addiction is all about author-to-author networking and support. I have 3 different tiers and 2 of them are capped. If you're interested in the monthly mini mastermind video call or private consultations, don't wait to sign up. Spots are limited and first come, first serve. We're going to discuss a multitude of topics, but to start with, we'll be focusing on bringing your world to life. This goes beyond the fictional world in our stories and delves deep into who we are as people, how we market ourselves, and in turn, build the community of fans we need. Can't wait to see you there. Then she posts the link. And these are her memberships. Season 1, Bring Your World to Life, for new and seasoned authors alike. In this season, we'll be discussing who you are as an author and the message you're trying to bring across through your stories. This is more than brand building, it is world building. You will learn these bunch of things. You will get access to weekly videos featuring topics chosen by the group and printable worksheet pages. Then for $100 a month, you can get a monthly group video call, which gives you the first tier, everything there, and then personalized advice and coaching from Britt. You can meet other authors and leave with action items each month that will improve your stories and author business. And then she has the private consultation tier that is $150 a month. And the title says it all, once a month, hour-long discussion that's all about you. So, people that see her and hold her in high regard as an indie author are, think that's pretty cool. So as of now, you can see she has 0 members, which that's great. So I did have someone reach out to me who did have a few interactions with Britt. And one of these included having a one-on-one conversation with her at a conference, and they really had a moment of connection when this person that emailed me had told a personal story to Britt about one of her readers coming to her and saying how much her book helped her get out of a really terrible relationship, and that this author said wow, if I never make a cent from this, it will have all been worth it. I've done enough in my career. That's not a direct quote, but it's the vibes. It's the sentiment. They had a nice moment over that, and I think that's really cool and special. Well, a couple hours later, Britt's giving a presentation, and she told a nearly identical story, including that last little statement there about, like, I don't care if I make another cent as an author. I just am so grateful I could have helped somebody. Like, I will have done what I wanted to do as an author. And so this author tried to kind of just like brush it off as a coincidence, just give her the benefit of the doubt. But it was also quite curious that this anecdote was the only part of Britt's presentation that didn't have a corresponding like PowerPoint slide. So that's definitely something interesting to keep in mind. Again, hearsay, but I'm just passing along information. So this same author had signed up for Britt's author-centered Ream and paid $150 for private one-on-one coaching. This author was a member for 3 months and had one session, but then started to be ignored by Britt and was having a really hard time scheduling this next one. Eventually, she did get the second one scheduled, but at that point, this author's book was finished. So it was basically just Britt being like, yay, you did it! Great job! And that's not actual coaching, and that's not what she was paying for. So I can't imagine that went any other different type of way with other people paying for the same thing. So, all right, so the next thing I want to talk about is something that I don't think I would normally want to get into so much. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who are gonna just come after me and say that I'm taking this too far, but this is public information. And it's just, I just feel like I'm just telling people what they could go look up themselves if they wanted to. So without getting too deep in the weeds, in November 2024, a lawsuit was filed against Britt and her husband by a construction company she had hired for work on her home. She had contracted them for work totaling $103,800. So in these court documents, the plaintiff was contracted with her for improvements to her residence of her and her husband. Then she contracted the plaintiff for more deck work at $8,000 in consideration. The plaintiff provided these services. The plaintiff fully performed and satisfied all of its obligations, and there remains unpaid on the contracts the sum of $46,800. Despite repeated demands for payment, defendant Brittany A. Anderson has failed to pay the amount due to plaintiff, resulting in a material breach of the contracts and damage to plaintiff. Plaintiff is entitled to recover from defendant Brittany A. Anderson for her breach of the contracts the sum of $46,800, together with prejudgment and post-judgment interests, costs and expenses, and other consequential damages. There's also this count that is called unjust enrichment, which is basically like Britt and her husband are reaping benefits from having this work done on their house and haven't paid for it. Like, so no matter the fact that they haven't paid, they're still getting to enjoy what was done. The last count is foreclosure, which I'm gonna be totally honest is the one that I by far understand the least. But this is my understanding, and please, like, my word is not gospel. This is just what I think is correct. So when a contractor does work on a house or anything like that, and they have an outstanding balance that's just remains to be unpaid, if the owners of that house can't pay it and the bank comes in for foreclosure, the contractor can file a mechanic's lien. When the mechanic's lien is filed, it basically gives the contractor a right to part of this property that the bank owns. And until that's paid, the property owners really can't do anything with their property. They can't refinance, they can't borrow money, they can't sell the house. Like, they can't do anything with it until that money is paid. And that money, as of now, still has not been paid. If there is a lawyer that would want to explain that better, I will be happy to pin your comment down below. That would, like I said, I'm trying to make sense of this from my layman's brain. So this was Britt's and her husband's response to the charges that were filed. They admit that they contract with the plaintiff for improvements to a residence owned by defendants, but the defendants deny that a true and accurate copy of said contract was attached to the complaint as Exhibit A, which I don't have access to those, but yes. Basically, the defendants denied all of these allegations. in the first count of which was breach of contract. In the unjust enrichment, defendants admit that the allegations of paragraphs 1 through 7 are incorporated by reference, but Britt and her husband deny that they've benefited from unjust enrichment from the complaint. And as for count 3, foreclosure, the defendants admit that they are owners of the president. They deny the allegations. They lack knowledge of the allegations about the lien, whatever. Short story, affirmative defensive. First affirmative defense, 20, improper filing. The mechanic's lien was not filed in accordance with Ohio's statutory requirements and is therefore invalid. Second affirmative defense, noncompliance with contract terms. Defendants assert that the work performed was not in accordance with the contract terms and that no valid oral contract was in place. Third affirmative defense, quality of work. The quality or sufficiency of work or materials provided did not meet the standards or expectations agreed upon in the contract. Fourth affirmative defense, excessive or unreasonable amount, so they think they're being sued for too much. They also think that the mechanic's lien was filed outside the statutory time limits, making it invalid, and they also said that the work was not completed according to specifications and general construction practices. Next, we have a document filed only on March 11th this year of her lawyers respectfully moving to withdraw as counsel. And we can see that lawyers in Ohio are permitted to withdraw from representation if the client has any of the following, if any of the following applies. And there is a whole bunch of things here. I'm not going to read them all. But here it says, that counsel believes the withdrawal is warranted under at least one of the permissible reasons stated here, therefore requests that this court permit their withdrawal. The undersigned certifies that to extent reasonably practical steps have been taken to protect their interests as part of termination of representation, and that they have given the notice also to Britt and her husband. And here is a document with the court granting this leave to withdraw as counsel. In this case, defendants have failed to fulfill their financial obligations to counsel despite multiple warnings regarding the necessity of payment. Additionally, defendants have failed to communicate with counsel and have not responded to counsel's telephone calls or emails. This makes it unreasonably difficult to provide effective representation. Continued representation from under these circumstances imposes an undue financial burden and prevents counsel from adequately advocating in this matter. So yeah, and that was approved. So they are no longer representing Britt and her husband in this case. All of this to say is that she's clearly, this isn't a misunderstanding. There's no way to be excusing her behavior. And I think that most people watching this agree that there is no excusing it. But at this point, if you don't see who she is from this, then, I mean, you're not going to. You are just totally brainwashed into thinking she can do no wrong. Because, like, to me, that is plain and simple theft of service, and there's just no other way to put it. If her lawyers don't even want to, like, help her, that's crazy. And as you can tell, like, that is a lot of money that she owes to them, and she's just doing her old Brit thing of just not answering and ignoring the problem. Next, I just want to point out a few inconsistencies in her kind of timeline of her author story. So this is very long. I don't want to read the whole thing, but I will put it here. You know, if you want to pause it and read the whole thing, please feel free. So I really just want to point out one particular inconsistency here. So this was on November 1st, 2021. First year in indie publishing, and the bottom line, I wish I'd done this sooner, but holy crap, am I glad I took a chance and went for it. So here she talks about how she published her first novel on October 1st, 2020. I feel like I've said the same words like thousands of times now throughout these videos. But like I said, she ended up with 5 books, released them all, you know, within a year of each other. This is where, in my opinion, it gets dicey. She says, now I'm going to be real with you all. I'm a mom of 3, 2 of which are on the spectrum and can be a little more demanding. And up until March 2021, I had a day job. So, I mean, there's a lot more to this. But what I wanted to point out was how she used like this as part of her her sales technique, was how she was saying she was furloughed and that's why she started writing. But apparently she also was working a day job until March 2021. So I just don't know what is real, and she doesn't seem to be able to keep her own lies straight. I mean, I get that is a small thing, but like it just goes to show that she is saying what she thinks will make her sound better versus what actually is the truth. And I mean, maybe one of these things is true, but she's saying them both to whatever kind of helps her narrative in the moment. And that, I just be honest. Like, who, just be honest. All right, so in my last video, I referenced a trip to Aruba that she just got back from. This was in the end of April, and you know, it was really poor, just optics, like really bad, because she was on this trip to Aruba, and you know, people are calling her out, saying like how much money that they owe her. I mean, this is starting to really pick up, kind of media, social media at least, attention, what she's been doing. And so, yeah, she posts this whole thing with pictures and whatever. You know, please go back and watch my last video if you want to see it all for yourself. But this is a screenshot that I was sent. This is in the 20 books to 50K group talking about this trip. So this was posted a year ago. And this conference, the Indie Author Mastermind, takes place every other year. So he writes, I run a mastermind group with authors generally making $500,000 or more a year. Let that sink in. We have a private get-together every couple years. The first was in Bali and helped turn 6-figure authors into 7-figure authors and 5-figure authors into mid-6-figure authors. Nothing is recorded from these events because they're done at a personal level for the benefit of those who have already realized a great deal of success in the business. I think it's something for every full-time professional author to aspire to, a key to the executive lounge. This isn't us versus them, since most of our members have given back at conferences with posts and generally sharing tips every now and then. We're having our biennial conference next year, 2025, at the end of April in Aruba. We have 50 seats, but only 40 are filled. We need to fill those last 10 seats, but I'm not going to do it now. I don't really understand, whatever. We don't make any money at these. These are for premier networking, brainstorming, sharing, and learning. The cost is $3,375 for a ticket to this event, and that doesn't include flights or hotels. Food is included in the price above because eating together is another way to share and discuss and keep the top performers motivated. The event runs for 3 days. That is over $1,000 per day for this event. And sure, yes, it includes food, but what are they getting that costs that much? Yes, this is my way of saying that we will open up a few seats to people who are not in the mastermind group. It's a significant investment in yourself because none of these people are going to carry you or exploit you as an underpaid collaborator or do your marketing or any of that garbage. When you leave the event, you go back to your life and hopefully put things into practice that vault you far ahead up the mountain of success. You need to have multiple books published. You need to have already realized at least consistent 4-figure months of success, and you have to want it. This will probably cost you $10K if you bring a spouse. Flights to Aruba are spendy. The room you get at the resort is priced down as part of our group rate, but you have to get a room at the resort because guaranteed rooms are in the contract and I'm not eating the extra cost of rooms not filled. That's why I'm doing this. Well, Craig, I think you are if you can't fill them, but okay. Can you share a room with another author? That will be determined on a case-by-case basis. My preference is no. Focus on you. Again, I'm kind of confused as to why that's his call at all. Maybe I just don't understand the dynamics of this group. I'm not releasing the dates or exact location publicly as I don't want party crashers. That would be extremely uncomfortable for everyone involved and not get you what you want. You can't sign up yet, just comment below with your interest and I'll think about it. If you want to lean forward, send me an email with your pitch, yada yada. That is just, to me, that is so like self-congratulatory. Like, I have no idea how this like mastermind situation was formed or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't know. It just seems very like elitist and uppity. Like, calm down. So we're not even adding in flights or the hotel, right? Obviously, those things are going to run in the thousands. So just for fun, I looked up this hotel that it was at, and trying to be as fair as possible, I picked a random night in mid-September on a weeknight. Now, I have worked in several like hospitality, like vacation-focused jobs. I have worked on a cruise ship. I have worked at Disney World, and now I work in the airline industry. So I can tell you that the slowest months for that kind of vacationing are September and January, easily. At least, you know, starting in the second week of January until probably mid-February is very, very slow, as is after Labor Day, the rest of September. So again, trying to just be fair, make sure I'm not like picking peak times. That's what I picked to look up a room. This is a low demand travel time. Here is what I found. The most inexpensive rate, that I understand that he said he got like a discount, but even so, the lowest rate for the smallest type of room is still a villa, and it is $608 per night. And that's the cheapest for a single night at a non-peak time of year. So I'm not super great at math, but we are going to figure this out. So we have $3,375 for the conference. And in this screenshot that she's tagged in, it says they were there for 10 days. I know that up above it says that it was 3 days, so I'm kind of confused, but even that is gonna run you a lot. So assuming that she at least stayed 4 nights, because if the conference is 3 days, she would either need an extra night on the beginning or the end in order to have made this worth her while and to get the full experience out of the 3 days. I'm gonna say she probably stayed more than that because she probably at least did 1 night at the end and the beginning. But as I don't know that, I'm just going to go with 4 nights. In her $608 room would be $2,432. Adding that to the $3,375, we are at $5,807. And I once again looked up flights from Cleveland to Aruba, and the cheapest flight I found for a non-peak time is $509 round trip. So adding that brings us to $6,316. And I understand it's an investment in her business and herself, but if she is struggling and taking money from others to save her restaurant, then this is definitely something she should not be doing. I don't know why that is something that needs to be said. If you are in debt and you are so you owe so many people, this is not something that needs to be taking up your money. It sucks. It sucks to have to say no to things you really want to do, but unfortunately, that's adulthood. And it's really adulthood when you've already taken people's money and have nothing to show for it. So just a couple notes. This is just something that I found ridiculous. So she posted this May 31st, 2023. Hey, Misfits. A little update: if you pre-ordered for Babe, which was a conference I spoke about in an earlier video, we did have to refund orders of Little Green Vines, Catching Kaylin, and Demons in My Head, as Britt will not have those available due to various reasons. I literally laughed out loud at due to various reasons because Demons in My Head is not even a book yet. And that's she's like, sorry, we're not going to have those because this book doesn't exist. But, for various reasons. I just thought that was so funny. I don't know why. I do want to kind of give an update to something that was posted for us just a couple days ago. She writes on her Facebook group, this form is for pre-orders from events, website book orders, or the special edition Emerald Lakes hardcover set only, which is something I still intend on doing. I just don't have a clear date at this time, so I completely understand if you'd like a refund. I'm deeply sorry for all of the delays, lack of communication, and overall stress this has caused many of you. I take full responsibility. Okay. By having all your information in one location, it will be much more manageable for me to track and actually see, since I have drastically cut my social media usage while I focus on writing Demons in My Head. I'm committed to making things right, and I'll work relentlessly to earn back your trust and respect. Please allow 7 to 10 business days for your refund to process before following up. And then she has the jot form to put down. So as you can see, she says this is for pre-orders from events, website book orders, or special editions, not the Kickstarter at all, because she's still deluding herself to think that's ever going to happen. This is, forgive me for not believing a damn word that she says, but theoretically, this is, I guess, good for, the people that have been robbed by her other places. This whole thing started to, gain traction on the internet because of the Kickstarter, and it's really, really a shame that that's, just being ignored in this whole refund situation. We do actually have an update on Kickstarter that she had promised to do 2 weeks, and she actually did, which is shocking. She writes, "Yay for progress, yay for words. Hi everyone, popping in with a quick focused update so that I can get right back into the writing cave. Currently writing a point of view from a character I never expected to, and what an interesting mind he has. So here we go. The manuscript is actively in progress, and I'm not only loving it, I'm proud of this story. At this stage, 3 beta readers are currently reading through the draft and have provided thoughtful, enthusiastic feedback. My content editor is also in the manuscript, reviewing structure and consistency, especially for those crossover moments with the Emerald Lakes characters. The story is continuing to move forward with focus and care. Since many of you have been here for the story and the heart behind it, here's a small line from something I wrote this week as our girl Palmer learned some truths about strength and weakness. Strength isn't about standing alone, Palmer. It's about knowing when to ask for help, when to lean on those who care about you. It's about trusting that you don't have to face every battle by yourself. I'll be back with another check-in in 2 weeks, and I'm genuinely so excited. At least there's no excuses piled up in this one. I guess that is a small miracle. Now, granted, I agree. I do have a thread about this. Why does that quoted line sound so familiar? I swear I've seen it somewhere before. Maybe it's just one of those common quotes. Nope, figured it out. Strength wasn't about being able to do everything alone. Strength was knowing when to ask for help and not being too proud to do it, which was written by Karen Marie Moaning in 2016 in her Fever series books. Again, I understand the sentiment is definitely something that's used a lot. It is pretty similar to this quote, but I'm not going to accuse her of anything with that. But it also just does feel like a very tone-deaf quote when so many people were like, just admit what you did wrong and ask for, help and understanding from us while admitting you were wrong. Like it's just very a misguided thing to say. As you may be able to imagine, that update did not go over well at all. She's still not giving a word count. She's still not giving an estimated timeline of publication. On her last update, she had posted that she hopes she will have more of a timeline on the actual completion of the book on her next update, since she's trying to figure out this new living situation and what it looks like for productivity. Does anyone think maybe she does not have a home of her own at this point because she won't pay the contractors? Could all be connected there. So yeah, we've got a whole lot of nothing. I'm also like, why do you have beta readers if you don't have a manuscript that's completed? I don't think she knows what she's doing, and I don't think she can remember what she told people already. So it's all just kind of, she says what comes out of her ass and hopes that no one notices when things are inconsistent. So believe it or not, I actually have other things I could cover. So I'm sure some of you are getting sick of me talking about this, but Britt Andrews is the gift that keeps on giving to me as far as making videos. So do you want me to do a part 4? Because I could. And as this is an ongoing situation, unfortunately, I can definitely keep giving updates. So yeah, thank you to everybody that has helped me out with these videos so far. It's been just invaluable to have real people's input. And of course, I hate that you have stories to share with me about this. I wish this had just not happened, of course. Please let me know down below what you think of all of this and how does this just keep getting worse and worse. So leave me a comment, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.